Ba, 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 ba.
Ba-da-da-da.
Shala, hey, shala.
I'm broken.
How broken?
Bro,
What's up, Scrub fam?
salutations, Scrub family. It is us.
And everyone watching this in future vision on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. Shout out to Corona. Episode Trace.
Number 3.
Sorry.
Nobody.
Android. Yes, yes.
Android 3.
Let's
Android.
get this party started, babies. So today we got the cast, we got the boys. We're gonna be talking about green cards, our testing, our thoughts, and maybe a little bit of a topic of what's gonna be banned. Ooh, the bugaboo. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Let's go with baby. Let's do it. And Zap hasn't moved in 35 seconds.
Unpopular opinion. This is going to be the first time that mono green could be meta.
Whoa.
The Breakfast Club.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
Yeah.
let's start with the first one. Kind of probably the most underwhelming of the archetypes. No hatred against Ginyu.
can I guess? Is it Captain Ginyu?
Ginny
Yes,
Bear?
Yes, it is. So we previewed all the Ginyu guys, all the Ginyu Force. Zap built a deck, playing it, play testing it, shadow playing. I'll start with you, Zap. Give me your thoughts.
I opened literally perfect the first time I played the deck.
So,
And I
so
lost.
turn two
It means it's
secret-
busted
turn
then.
two secret?
Yes.
You open turn 2 secret?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So I opened. So what I did. Yeah, it was like turn 1
Freezes call.
was a Helix. Yeah, Helix was Raccoon, and Raccoon for free plays Birder, and then Birder sets up your next turn, and then the Ginyu swings, and you get the other one, and then I did a Freeze's Call to get the 4th, and then I awakened, and then I had like 4 15k swings, and then I played my Ginyu for free, and I swung with him, and that was like a 15k, and then I stole their guy, I stole the guy, and then I evolved into the bigger one, and then I swung with that 20k double strike, and then I sacked my whole board for Cell Zeno, and I swung twice, and at the end of that turn, I had a Cell Zeno. I had done like 4 swings and like stopped 1 attack. They were like 3 life. I was at like 7, but all I had in my hand was a super combo.
Oh.
And then they killed your Celzino, and then you proceeded to lose because you had no card advantage or field anymore, right?
Correct. So it's yes.
And then how would you say the implication of unique of each battle card hinders the deck, or does it hinder the deck?
Hindrance would, like, I don't want to insult hindrance by associating the Green Ginyu Force with hindrance. It's bad. It's like you're relying, your entire deck is built around the super consistent awaken, the super consistent turn 2.
Right.
And your super consistent turn 2 generates as many attacks as playing 1 Turles.
That's a good way to put it.
So-
it's
so-
attacks with Turleton, yeah.
So
thing that we-
what
the
you're
other thing we saw-
saying is Turles is gonna get banned?
No.
We're not there yet. Hey, hold your horses, man. Hold your horses.
We got a script that we have to follow.
We have our topic selection from top to bottom, okay?
Chronological, bro.
All
But
right,
I
guys,
think-
we're about like
I
4
think,
minutes into this or whatever. You can tune out now.
No,
Ben,
but
spoiled
on
everything.
a serious
I'm
note.
just kidding.
Serious note about the Ginyu Force. If they didn't have unique, that would be
Thing.
Much
Could be more of a
better.
thing. Yes, I agree.
much better. The fact that you set up everything because you're, like I was saying, you're consistent. You set up everything. It's like, well, I got all this Ginyu Force in my hand.
Yeah, I don't even think it would have been
5K.
pushed too hard if they didn't even have unique. I think that'd still be a fair deck. I don't even think it would have been pushed too far.
No,
if they didn't have
absolutely.
unique.
But
I
it would
think
be
would've been-
a tier better, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so your soloing for the deck is 4 Ginyus is 8 cost worth of guys. Your 4-drop Ginyu puts you at 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 is Salzino. Or
It's weird.
yeah,
I
or
wonder what counters the deck. Did Green get a card that counters that deck?
it did, as did every other color. Not to mention, you don't have time to play a unison when you go that route.
Yes.
And on top of that, the only other cool thing you can do is you can sacrifice all 4 Ginyus to play a Gohan 8 successor. And if you successor against a blue deck and they have God Sealing Trunks,
that's getting bounced.
and all your guys they die because unlike Union Patara or something, they get roasted. It's just
Cool.
There might be a day or a world where that changes, but as long as you can't negate the unique, I personally have no optimism about that deck in a competitive environment. Rip.
I'm inclined to agree.
I know you're excited about it too, Pat. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it was like I saw it. I was like, oh, this seems pretty cute. And then Zap's like, yeah, this is what it does. And I was like, what does it do after that? Oh no, I don't
One
know.
card in hand.
We're gonna test it. And then I rolled in at like 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, boys, how'd the Ginyu testing go?
Bro, but you
I-
get to steal bodies, bro.
Yeah, and Jose was just like, it's trash, bro. It's trash, bro. I was like, what happened? And they're like, no hand, bro. Unique, bro. And I was like, oh no.
And if you do have a hand, it's all 215 vanillas. Which
Yep.
Which surprising, the set is basically, I think they just short printed 10Ks in the set. They just didn't give anything 10Ks. I think they probably factored with Unison.
I'm pretty sure that somebody made a mistake in the computer and they just copy pasted everything.
No, I think they just realized the 10K combo power.
0.5K across the board. I don't even think I saw
Reasonable.
10K in this set
Reasonable.
before, to be honest.
I can believe it.
Okay, cool. I think we're done with the Ginyu topic. Let's move on.
my last
That was quick.
my last closing thought is if the deck did receive a new sealing that allowed it to compete, it would still lose the Goku Shrine to be the best.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
100%. Those are facts.
The card that ruined aggro forever.
Forever.
Yes. Yeah. That card that we got super excited for in the first Nationals when it got previewed, and the big screen, like, oh no, Storm's gonna lose now, yeah.
Yeah, if you look back to like where they like their production rate and their ability to address Storm, there was like 4 months where they're just printing Stormancer after Stormancer,
Yeah.
but they had already weakened Storm measurably. Like from that point on, if you pinpointed like what card most negatively impacted the game, I'd probably point at Goku Shrine to be the best because it completely warped how they had to design aggro.
It doesn't have deflect, bro.
Totally agree.
Yeah, well, yeah, because now what aggro looks like in this game is playing 6 drops for 0 energy on like turn 2.
It does have barrier though, right?
Yeah.
It does have
It does have barrier. That's why it was so Gucci.
so Gucci.
The
Okay,
Gucci.
cool. All right. We
Next one.
pay the respects to Ginyu. Rest in peace.
What's
Okay.
the next on the list?
The next on the list is the boy Frieza starter deck. He's actually pretty cool. Kind of goes with the hand destruction theme and kind of fits Bardock Unison a little bit more. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
He doesn't get to play monkeys. Ugh.
Yeah, no. So flavor. The leader is hell flavorful. Playing, not being able to play monkeys is kind of cool and thematic. The only thing is that your deck building has to get a little bit more creative since you can't just jam 4 copies of Saiyan Instincts in it because you
Feels
want
bad.
to, because you're trying to play yellow. But
It's okay. I'll play Paragus.
No.
What?
No, you can't do it. You can't do it, man. So far, I tried building the yellow version of the deck that was like similar to the starter deck, but then immediately scrapped it because your overall card quality is just so low. You're playing. Yes, you're getting Cold Bloodlust, but you're playing 4 Freezes Calls. You're playing these 4-drop freezes that are easy to deal with and not that impactful when they hit the board. You're playing the Dark Dragon Balls, which you can't tutor, that you have to draw into when you need them at the right exact time. So that engine just feels kind of bad. And so I just went straight mono green, just trying to abuse 1-drops and an early awaken, because on your early awaken turn, you can play something that makes you take a life, swing with your leader, sack it, take another life, your opponent discards a card, awaken, then you can bring it back with either Dispo or bring it back with a Dodoria or play another 1-drop, sack it, make your opponent discard a card. And then once you're online with leader skill plus Bardock Unison plus Hasty Dispatch plus Dodoria, Loops, or Quick Sweep Android 17, as these boys found out. You're making your opponent just pitch 2 a turn, and then your win condition is just giving your Bardock Unison critical 20k and triple attack when they have no cards in hand. So I think the deck is like one card away from being like hyper consistent, hyper powerful. But as of right now, it definitely is the second best.
So you're saying that it's missing 3 characters. U11.
Yeah, you're right, bro. If it was,
because if they had like a Kakati type card where you can just pitch a card from hand and play a free 1-drop, that's what you need. Just a way to play free 1-drops from hand.
Yeah,
and surprisingly, you can't even play the Gohan in the deck because it's a Saiyan.
Hasty Dispatch sounds amazing in the deck. Like you hard cast it, you sack it for Bardock, and then wait, Dodoria is a 1 cost or a 2 cost?
Dodoria is 1 cost.
1 cost.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you just keep like you can pay a green to get your Dodoria back and then like replay it, and then that way you can kind of get 2 triggers. So like let's say you untap with 3 energy, you can play a Dodoria from hand, sack it, pick the Dodoria back up, play it again, sack it again with your 2 different abilities, or you just have your Hasty Dispatch to keep the loops going. And so your opponent's just constantly discarding cards, and you're never swinging with anything except for your leader swing plus critical. Like,
right.
That's it.
Seems sick.
Just hard lockdown on the hand.
Yeah, no, so it's definitely good. But like I said, I feel like it's definitely like missing one like card that just brings it all together.
Go ahead, Zep.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. If I recall, Freeze is the first leader that actually advocates your random discard.
Yeah, on the Awakened side.
So that
because I think Brawly set 1 leader.
That's a major feels bad, by the way. Like random discard is such a major feels bad when it happens consistently.
What was that for Jose?
No, Frisco was asking if set 1 Broly was random. I think your opponent chooses.
You both.
No, your opponent chooses. Your opponent chooses.
Yeah.
Up until this point,
The
random
6
discard
drop,
has only ever been on battle cards, and it only happens once. This is on a leader, and it happens all the time.
Well, now it's like it's so cool.
Gogeta 7, bro.
Exactly, bro. That's random. It's like your leader ability random discard. You have your Cells Kamehameha to make a random discard. Mm-hmm. You're just hey.
It's a major. That's gonna be a major headache of a deck. Like it's not even the best deck of the ones that were shown, but it's still just gonna be a major headache to play against.
The part that's annoying is it just doesn't really interact with you at all. Like all it's doing is just bringing back like just graveyard effects. That's all it's doing. Yeah. It's just looping you. It's just over and over again every single turn, just getting cards out of your hand and then just trying to kill you the slow and painful way. I think it is very thematic for Frieza because Frieza kind of likes to play with his food before he kills it.
100%.
So
that is true.
Yeah,
he is the slow roll
king, and
he's
just using his his loyal servants and just using them over and over again to do all the work, and then
there is a meme based on his arc in this show. The whole Namek, like 20 minutes on Namek meme. That's literally Frieza in a nutshell.
That is the deck. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
So where do you put it in so far with what we've seen?
Oh, so far I'd say.
So that's hard to tell right now, though, without seeing the
in green.
colors.
In green, it's.
I was very specific.
Green, it's definitely the clear number 2 in green. Overall, I think it's like.
It's the 7th best deck in the format. There you go. You want to be oddly specific.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about Series 10. Like Series 10, it's like.
Yeah, that's what
we have.
Yeah.
Vegito and Zamasu are the best blue leaders, and then Goku is, spoiler alert, best green leader. So. I think if you just go like Goku, Vegito leader, I would put Zamasu and then Frieza. So probably like the fourth best we've seen so far.
Okay, that's fair. I would agree with that. Yeah,
and that's putting Trunks as 5.
Trunks is 5, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, if you're playing the deck as they're intended, that probably sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I was gonna make it.
Yeah, I was gonna say our direction of skipping all the gimmicks and just going all in on Vegito, I'd probably put those at about the same level of competitiveness.
I agree.
Vegito and what?
The Trunks deck that just tried to resolve Vegito. My guess is that deck compared to Frieza is probably at a comparable level of competitive.
Very much. It's just one is just doing a big chunk all at once, whereas one is doing like a million paper cuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I feel as well. Like I feel like Trunks and Frieza are probably about the same level. I think that Vegito and Zamasu are like I don't want to say like the middle of the road, but like of what we've seen, they're like the ones that are, the
I think
second.
Vegito is above middle. but
Yes.
that's
No, you know what I mean. But like,
Well,
I
it's like-
think Vegito and Zamasu are like about the same power level.
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying. They're about the same power level. Like they will be represented in competitive play, both of those leaders.
And then Ginyu is like 20 spots below.
I knew we were missing a leader. It failed
Yeah.
to just even mention him. That's sad. Poor
Yeah,
guy.
he is distant 6th place right now. But like I said, there's a toss up between I think Vegito, and Zamasu for probably 2nd place. Which, spoiler alert, that leads us into our segue. So Frisco, take it away.
To the main event of the spoilers for the green reveals, the green Goku. I have to admit, on paper, it was hard to like see what he was going to do.
Come
Not even with the
on.
package and everything.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this guy's just Clash
He's-
2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because
No.
he burst all the time, right? And he promotes a high life total and critting yourself to wipe the entire board every single turn. Just to recap what he does. So it was hard to like, all right, he seems like really good, but then it's when you start building him, then you just kind of see the power level of it. I'll let you guys talk about it. I know Zap is very passionate about it. Spoiler alert, you guys are going to see some videos regarding some statistics on how to deck build with it and the deck itself. Zap, your thoughts?
I'm actually not going to interject first because in the
Okay.
midst of me being really excited about math-based decks, fact of the matter is that Matt was the one that originally diagnosed the deck as playing it very differently than it was intended. So I'd love to give you the floor.
Matt, go for it.
Yeah.
King Matt.
So when the leader was previewed, I think everyone in our chat, we were talking about it, and me immediately off the bat, I think the leader is absolutely absurd for a monocolor leader. So early awakening on turn 1, important, but the fact that
How are you awakening on turn 1 or 2, by the way?
yeah, so on turn 1 you're just playing a blocker. So play a blocker, then your opponent swings at you, you blow it up, boom, you awaken.
Any blocker, any color.
Any blocker, any color, because the leader doesn't have a restriction, which is kind of
Like Vegito.
messed up.
Like Vegito has to be blue.
Exactly. Leader doesn't have a restriction, so you can do combos like the Supreme Kai Time Regulator, which is my favorite because it's ultra value. But in general, so that on turn 1 or turn 2, you know, you can do the same thing, or you can blow it up for probably the best like high utility unison so far, which is Bardock. Because you can just blow up your 1-drop and then get the awakening ability, which, you know, one of our patrons put in our Discord earlier today, and all of us were kind of just like, wow, we were just awakening on turn 1 and just not really thinking about the fact that you could do it with Bardock.
But now we're summoning Vegeta turn 1. They discard down to 5. They draw to 6. They charge. They play a 1-drop. They're at like 4 or 5, and then you either rib them or you Bardock.
Yep.
And awaken. Yeah.
Exactly. So then, and then so now it's like, well, you have this leader that's just generically good on the front side and has this early awakening effect, but then it has this burst 3. It's like, well, what's good with burst 3 effects? Well, cards that you can either play from your drop area or cards that let you get back things from your drop area. And you know what? Green has a lot of effects. A lot of effects that discard your opponent's hand for doing stuff with your discard pile. Like, so you just get into this habit of building this pile of 50 plus
Dredge.
cards. Yeah, you just play this.
It's like Dredge, yeah.
Yeah, you're just playing this pile of 50 cards that are just all cards that are just interacting with your opponent. They're high value cards. They get value no matter where they are, whether they're in your hand, your discard pile, etc. And then you're just generating that big snowball that we talk about in DBS, where you get to do that with no worries at all because your leader just if you're ever worried about the board state your opponent may be potentially trying to build, well, guess what? you awakened at 8 life, so you now get to use your life as a resource, the ultimate resource, to just do a reset whenever you want. So
Which also
He
fuels
just
your
has-
drop for more play extension.
yes, exactly. Just
He literally has 3 Wrath of Gods built.
You guys remember? You guys remember that
For free.
set 1 green leader?
the goal.
Gohan.
Gohan? Yeah,
I need a
imagine if
6
you had
energy.
Gohan's ability 3 times a game, but it costed 0.
And you started on the back.
He's starting to awaken
Exactly.
side.
And it's activate battle.
So I think the one thing I most appreciate about this deck type, or when I was playing against it, I was playing a Search Crew deck. Zap was playing the deck, and I absolutely felt helpless playing.
You can't win.
Tier
Not
1 current Search Crew deck, Coolers, Beerus, Bardocks. When you have the Bardock unison in play, literally Arrival and Bardocks are just terrible
Yo.
because you have to over combo to get your guys in play, and then you could just snipe the Bardock in the combo area at any time you want, either on offense or defense. So it was at times that I had to overextend it, even try to push damage. Like I was like, all right, Bardock, okay, you choose it, Bean and Bardock, and you're like, okay, cool, crit 2, it's gone. You're like,
Yeah, this deck is this deck is literally a green kryptonite deck for the Surge Coup deck that is currently.
It's Lex Luthor, man. It
it might as well just be Lex Luthor. Like it is just.
And the funny thing about it too,
and the big Kryptonian armor, like the big, green and purple Kryptonian fueled armor. That's what that is. That's what Goku is wearing when he goes up against Surge Coup, man.
And this is I'm not gonna spoil anything about affecting the current meta, but like even choosing, like, say you're relying on your super combos for Arrival, Bardock absolutely destroys that because you're cheating on your paying one of each color. But once you start leaning into multicolor and you snipe that, you're like, well, these tricolor decks don't really function as well, not relying on your super combo to Arrival, so that really impacts it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jose. Jose was trying to speak.
I was gonna say, like, Arrivals being like -2 from hand to get it versus this Bardock Unison are like, well, 4 cards, maybe even 5 cards out of your hand to get an Arrival off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. The other thing I was gonna bring up is that I actually enjoyed the Goku starting off with the Frieza Unison instead of the Bardock from the beginning, because that way you can play just the long game and also do what the Frieza leader is doing, just kill you by 1,000 cuts. So you just with the Frieza you can because you play a lot of the, like, Saiyan Instincts, you play Ribrians, you play Roshi, which Roshi
Kamehameha Origin.
It's card's busted.
Superstar.
Yeah, card is busted.
Amazing.
It's always been busted, and the only person I ever saw play it was actually Sandy Hater.
I was
literally
Hayden did it in South, but yeah.
Yeah, I say hate it. It was literally stage 0. The stage 0 guys are literally the only people I saw play Kamehameha Origins. I was like, guys, this card's busted. And these are the only people using it back in February.
So the fact that since you play so many cards that are really good in your graveyard, you're gonna draw them, right? You wanna get value out of them. But Frieza lets you draw a card and then put one back on the deck, giving himself critical. And so now, guess what? That you put back your Saiyan Instincts, or you put back your Roshi, you put back your Ribrians, and they get milled by your burst ability when you're leader.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're back again with what Matt was saying with his Frieza deck. You're just swinging with a crit guy and your leader, and you're putting pressure. You're making them discard cards. They have to deal with a critical, and then once you by turn 4, you could have 2 Ribrians on the graveyard, make them pitch 4. It's like which deck is gonna recover from that? It's very hard to do. Even I was having a really hard time dealing with it. I was playing Vegito, the Vegito aggro version. It was very hard because I was losing my resources early on, and blue doesn't draw that well. So the only way that I could actually have some sort of pressure back was trying to play back the control game, because if I go aggro early, they're seeing their whole life. So the green doesn't draw well, right? Mm-hmm. So you can actually battle back and forth with play the control, try to get rid of their unisons and whatnot. So make them use their cards to defend their unison, because without their unison, it's a little bit harder for them to play the game. But yeah, well, if it's set up, if that Bardock stays on board, if that Frieza stays on board, it's very hard. It's very, very hard.
If I may interject, so the little audio thing I released to patrons earlier this week, that's one of the big things I was talking about, is what Jose's talking about here, where playing the unison at the correct time and having the defense for it is like everything in this format. Like, right. The unisons are so much more powerful than any of the battle cards you could play, except for the big obvious dumb finishers like Android 17 or Android 21. Like, aside from the big dumb stupid finishers that are supposed to end the game, the unisons just feel more powerful than any other battle card you can play, because they give you access to free things that are really powerful. And they could completely swing the game and snowball it way out of control. So as long as you're able to protect them That's why I said I was like, all right, we might be going into a front where people are playing, 4 blockers and 4 negates, or like, 2 blockers, 2 or 3 blockers, and then like 6 or 7 negates. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if like a tournament winning deck in this format has like 7 negates in it, just because they're just trying to protect the unison, because it just snowballs way out of control compared to the traditional strategy.
When your unison has already 7, when your opponent's unison has already 7 counters, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Like, killing the unison is priority 1. Defending it is also priority.
But the thing is, to build on that, the green unisons felt far more impactful than the blue ones that we have, right? Because Seno, it gives you more value, right? But he cannot swing by himself unless he's Fujijiro, right? And then you have to spend 2 energy as well to give him triple and making a 19k. But these and then you have like the Go tanks, which is really good, but it's a turn 4 play at least. So
turn 3 in some decks.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that you're not getting the full value for more than 2 turns in Go tanks, for example, right? Like he's saying, like he's gonna swing 2 times. Your leader is gonna swing at him, and if you want to get some value out of it, you better draw your 2 cards.
Right.
And then it's not gonna last. If you're playing against a smart player, they're gonna get rid of the Go tanks right away. So
and the cool thing is that green so far has the best way of protecting unisons in Dormant Potential Unleashed, which has just been a gross card.
Card is nasty.
Yeah.
So not only is it just like so much better than the free blue counterpart, right? It's so much better than the free blue counterpart. It's in the only color that can cycle it, like recycle it. Like, why?
Right.
So
Yeah,
I think
you want to talk a little bit about those plays, like how defensive that Goku deck is with.
So like I put up I kind of set a math equation because it's basically factual. If you have a blocker and you have dormant, you are now a Hachiyak, literally, because you're stopping the 1 attack and then they only get 1 more attack. So you basically turn your whole deck into a Hachiyak style right there, and you did that for a cost of 2 cards, and you don't have to run a full mono black deck. So now you have something going for you.
So you're saying it's a good Hachiyak.
Yeah, and it counters the best. No, I don't really hate Hatch. I just put Andrew 21 in the deck and feel good about it. But
don't forget that 2 card combination also costs you 0 energy the majority of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and also
it KOs Abudi tokens.
I was just it counters the unison killer of Abuni right now because all the tokens go away.
Yeah, you choose up to 2 cost worth of cards, right?
Yeah, and let's not forget to mention that the leader actually wipes the entire board as a KO anyway. It's not like you need it, but
playing Obuni felt so bad.
Yeah,
Goku felt so bad.
It feels like
I was like, well,
the thing is, like, when you're playing it, you're critting them too, so you just have to look at it that way. Where Goku, where you have to try to beat Goku at is you have to get them to crit 2 life and have a follow-up play after it. You can't just play things and spend energy, then crit 2. Then they're like, all right, it's basically crit 2 to basically pass your turn. So you have to get them to commit to their ability.
But potential unleash, bro.
Yeah. I know. It's not easy. I'm just saying that's what you have to
do. I am happy a leader like that exists because that's a skill that I don't think Dragon Ball players have developed in this game. Is knowing when to not load the board. I feel like everybody just loads the board all the time. I like there being a leader that punishes you for overextending. Like, I hate the fact that everybody can just put their foot on the gas in this game and not get punished for it. So
yeah,
and that's the best part about Goku is that he does that. It's just the fact that he can do it 3 times for no cost is a little bit much. But
the thing is, where Goku can struggle too is just leader and unison attacks too. Like, it's hard for him to deal with those things. So you have to strive into strategies that resolve around that, like even Bardock unison -3, or even Gohan set 9 leader, was it set 9?
Yeah,
reboot Gohan, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I would think that that would be a thing. There's also Goku doesn't negate skills, right?
No.
Okay, so the Bibbidi would probably be also pretty decent against it because of the permanent on the 6 drops can't be removed by skills. So that's another way of solving the issue.
Yeah. And there's another version of the deck that we haven't explored, which goes into 4 colors and then utilizes Strength of Legends. So that would be something like
Stop.
so you throw in like
I know
imagine
it's a thing, but stop. Don't give people ideas.
so imagine Bodyguard Legic being your turn 1 Awakener. And then imagine doing your the 1-cost blue Jaco. So if you are playing against a yellow deck, you can just Hasty Dispo into it and keep them off Arrival and Bardock Ape. And then once you get 4 colors in the drop, then you just hard cast the Strength of Legends. You swing 35k, use your leader ability, pop it, and play another one.
Yep.
Seems pretty decent. Or
Also fucking Jiren Army of 1.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No. You make my dream come true. I get to play Hope of Universe 7.
Yeah, you can.
Because I evolve it on that
No,
battle.
you have to activate King Vegeta. You gotta add the King Vegeta.
No.
Yeah, he has permanent. This card cannot. You can't evolve on top of this card.
Yeah.
No.
You have to have King Vegeta. Yeah. Someone came up with that idea.
No.
Fresco, stop. I can feel your ego stroking from here. Please stop.
Hey guys, here's this broken turn 6 play. Whoa!
For one energy.
For 1 mana.
You know what?
Turn 6.
It's energy, man. Get it right. Get your games corrected, my guy.
My bad, bro. You play. You're gonna
But,
play your King
Yeah, you wanna
Vegeta.
talk about Jiren Army of 1. Go
Then-
for it.
God ceiling,
Yeah, no.
bro.
Dude, that is like that card. Like I expected, like it's a card that you expect there to be like one deck eventually that can play it, because you look at it in a vacuum, you're like, there's no way you can consistently set this up, and then it just so happens that half a set later you get this hidden dormant potential unleashed, and you're just like, all right, I have 5 cards in hand, I have 1 energy, and they swing at you. You hidden dormant potential. Use your blocker to block it. So you pay nothing for it. You discard a card. You're down to 3 cards in hand. And then they swing at you direct, and you do a negate. I guess you have to be at 4 cards in hand or something. But yeah, you just you put no effort into it.
Or you can be super obvious and they swing in for 15k and you combo all the way to 30k.
Yeah, because you know it's your last attack, and you can just do it. I think the cool thing about the play is that, I think Zap's already mentioned, you don't have a big hand size, and when you're discarding their hands, they're usually your first thought process is not to keep counter cards, because usually the hand destruction decks aren't playing a lot of battle cards. They're just
You
resolving.
need to do
a lot of
something
different
productive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just I need to progress the game state, so I want to keep my threats. So they're like, oh, you just play this Jiren, I can't negate it. Why would I keep a negate against a hand destruction deck? And now I just lose.
Yep. He's saying that because of me, by the way. That was me. I
Yeah.
got lamb in parts with.
And it doesn't feel like you're overextending to do it, so I definitely agree. It's a very good card in the deck.
Right. And even if your average hand size is only 5 or 6, it's really like 10 or 12 because you have 3 to 6 great targets at any point.
You don't lose anything, right? Because right now, what is the only thing, that Jiren is you don't lose much because again, you still have your Saiyan instincts in your graveyard. So okay, that didn't work. Okay, I'll use 4 energy, draw 4, and I'm back in the game. Okay, cool. Then this ball, get my blocker.
It's actually ironic. I think a card that I thought about that actually kind of Goku doesn't want to see. I don't know if I can ever get to it, but it's Turning the Tide, because you have to shuffle your whole discard pile back in your deck, so you get none of your effects.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm
Say
really
less.
hoping.
Say less, fam.
I'm really hoping for some kind of graveyard hate. I would love to have Craft Digger's Cage in this game so much, man. Because
But
a
actually,
deck like Goku should not exist. It's just you have to have some kind of check to that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I was thinking about the Turning the Tide thing.
Yeah,
It just
the shuffles the
dies.
entire drop
shuffle
it back in their deck.
But
It's
you have to be super careful though, because if when you play Turning the Tide, they're still at 6 life. That means that you're killing the.
Oh, if they have a Bardock on board and you Turning the Tide, then they're just -3 tokens. Or I guess I'll lose.
We'll just take those L's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Bardock should. Yeah, the green unisons are absurd.
They're really.
I think
Except Demigra.
so. It's
Bro,
actually,
don't
I'll
stop.
tell you-
Demigra's so good.
It's a one mana walker. What do you want from it?
It's so good. It
It's
hasn't
a
been
one-mana walker,
explored.
dude.
I wanted you guys to talk about it.
You guys don't understand. Deathrite Shaman broke magic. Okay.
That was the segue. That was the segue.
We can talk about Demigra. You guys want to talk about Demigra Unison?
Tell us. Tell us in 3 minutes why that card is playable despite first impressions of it being a random 1-drop.
So, it's a 1-drop that can't be killed, can't be countered. It's a 15k swing every single turn. If your opponent swings at it, they self-awaken you. And every turn that they swing at it or don't swing at it, you're plussing, and it's turning sideways. We like in this game cards that continue to generate value. Well, Demigra is one of those cards where if it stays unchecked, it just drips value throughout the course of the game. Every 15k swing, every -3 effect, every life they take to self-awaken, it just creates, again, the snowball effect we like to talk about, where now I have this thing that gives me an extra action per turn and attack per turn, and I can swing at your unisons, your battle cards, your leader, and you have to do something about it.
And his -3 is blow up before drop, right?
No, it's blow up a 3 ignoring barrier and then blow up anything.
Oh, it's both. Okay, it's not a horror.
Yeah.
No, it's two things.
Yeah,
He's got 2 things and they're permanent.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So that is the quote unquote bad unison in green, and yet we get Supreme Kai of Time in blue. Like, I feel as somebody who likes to play blue, I feel like I got hosed.
You did, bro. Because
I feel like I got hosed. Like, I feel like none of the, like, Zeno is really good in a lot of decks, but not like amazing in every deck. And Gotenks is really nuts, but you can't play Trunks with it.
But I feel
So
like,
I feel like I have to give up something to play some of the blue unisons. Like, there's like, you know, things you can do, things you can't do. And then look at the green unisons, they're like, they just get everything.
so
They just get everything.
the Zeno is
You
really
just the hard counter Raiders Warcry.
So the blue unisons are good. The challenge with them is that, like we just said, you don't create that snowball effect as significantly as the green unison cards do.
Yeah, and they're not as generically good. They're very specific.
Mhm.
Right.
So when you're trying to build anything like previous meta, we're going to go into that topic later. Those just don't feel that great. They just don't, like, they're very specific to certain type of archetypes, and they just aren't generically good.
Green got so much good generic stuff this set.
Yes.
And green has historically been the set that every card had 0 versatility, right? Like, you think about, like, Sensu Beam. It can be defensively stopping a swarm. It can extend your plays. You can get direct value out of, like, dual attack on a plus 5k boost. And then you look at, like, Kid Coup, which is, like, generates a card per turn, or it plays a body. You just have so many different things. And your green cards, they're just like, KO your card, discard your card. Here's another green card. KO your card, discard a card. And these green unisons, like Hidden Potential Dormant, there's so many things. They're so multifaceted, and that's what's going to bring green to catch up. Because I think we can all agree that green has always been a support color.
So let's go.
That we need to respect green now.
I was actually gonna say let's do a round table. Let's talk about your current thought on green and where you think it's going to project in the upcoming meta, and do you think it's gonna be relevant? Jose, we'll start with you.
I think the universe is back in order. Green keeps blue in check. I like it. I like green having choices again, right? Which is, I come back to what I like about my decks, having the ability to do many things and adjust and just play value. My biggest issue with green was it's just energy inefficient, not drawing cards, and you had to cut one arm in order to pop a 1-drop in the opponent board, you know? So I like Goku giving you that flexibility to draw cards. The unisons giving you snowball effect. Because many times green felt like you started really well. You started on curve, and then all of a sudden they put too much pressure on you, and he's like, well, everything falls out of my strategy now. I'm done. I'm dead. I see the green deck with, again, we haven't seen yellow, but
Matt, your thoughts?
No,
I think green is competitive. I think green right now with what we've seen, it's promising, very promising.
Anytime you take something that has never been done before in a game and you then allow it to be able to be pushed through the introduction of, in this set, looks like more graveyard interaction, and you just have a ton of it that already exists in the game, and you give it to one color, and then you also put it on a leader that's never existed before that has the ability to generate a drop area plus the ability to wipe an opponent's board. All signs point to that strategy being a tier 1 strategy, if not best deck in format strategy, because it does something completely unique and powerful. That's very important. Right. But green overall as a color is going to be much more competitive, just because it's just finally got the things it needs to kind of just take all those card effects we got and just give the generic good stuff that they needed to just be pushed over the top.
Zach, your go.
Yeah, green team's a lot better. It said it got a lot of flexibility in its effects. It feels like the purpose of green decks are try to break even with whatever advantage your opponent is generating. Mm-hmm. Where usually in other decks, it's more like you're trying to build advantage faster than they are. Green is like you're trying to get them to break even, and then on your turn, you're generating a little bit of advantage. So in the prospect of like mid-range growth or mid-range control aggro, green doesn't have a full-fledged identity, but being able to play the value game, I guess tempo would probably be the best word to describe it in traditional Magic terms, I guess. But it feels like it doesn't have to be just a support color anymore, and it's so refreshing.
Patrick O'Neill, your comments.
So we went from being like the most energy inefficient color ever. Like for green, it was like you got to pay 4 or more to do anything, and all it was basically killing one guy, and then like every other color gets to run circles around you in terms of like what they do with their energy. So we went from that to basically giving the color snuff out, like so it's free kill spell out of nowhere is a huge upside, obviously. And then on top of that, the second point I guess I want to hammer home here is that this Goku deck is what, like 8-0, 9-0 against Surge Coup in testing right now. So when I see that, I'm just like, okay, yes, there's no way it's not tier 1, right? There's no way it's not tier 1. So I know Jose's like, we have to see yellow, right?
I was gonna say it one more time, see yellow.
But we have to see yellow. That's the only thing, right? If yellow is as busted as it is every set, because like if you do the math, yellow is the best color in set 1, in set 2, in set 3, in set 4, in set 5, in set 6, in set 7, in set 8.
Yeah.
And then even in set 9. So if yellow continues the trend, because it's always the best color,
what
then
the heck
sure.
is gonna happen?
I'm scared of what their freezer or trunks is gonna do. Like I am really scared because I think we're on the same trend that we're gonna get one.
Yeah, so I think green should be tier 1. All, as Matt said, all signs point to tier 1. I think I'd be astounded if it wasn't a contender for best deck in format.
I have nothing really much to add. I agree with everything you guys said. I think it's a good deck, and I appreciate the fact that it can double rebrand its own and not feel punished for doing it. And that just seems, and that's really dumb because you clear their board and you get rid of 4 cards, and you're like, all right, come at me, bro.
Do you want to know? Yeah. Do you want to know my favorite cost? Free.
Free. Yeah.
Like,
if Bandai somehow listens to this, please, Graveyard Hate, please.
Free. Everything's free.
I remember you can play me for free $99.
I remember Matt getting tilted when I was playing Cell Surge and double rebranding, but this just feels a lot worse than that too. And Cell is not that great. So that says a lot. Yeah. Let's shift to current meta. You like that? So let's talk about unisons, how they affect the current meta, what are your guys' thoughts on it. I can start off by I was trying to build Piccolo Surge today, and it just doesn't feel that great because a lot of things, I feel like you're trying to fight the 2 strategies of what Surge and Unison are trying to do. I don't know how it's going to affect Surge. And the ability to put in a 3rd color is going to be harder. So the 3rd color of losing a 3rd color, I don't know how much value you're going to lose from adding Unison. So I think a lot of other decks are going to basically get a lot more value without actually giving the help to Surge leaders. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Pat, what are your thoughts on it?
So, I mean, I haven't done as much testing as the other guys here, but the decks that I have tried to jam Unison that are old decks, they feel like, the ones that I've tried have been basically Frieza Prison, and are like thinking about hypothesizing it, because like obviously we have the whatever his name is, the Gotenks Unison, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, trying to use that as like a supplement. Obviously, it has a new synergy, but like as like a temp placeholder, like if I just test handed 2-drop Unison, what would it do? Like that works there because it didn't previously have an option. So yeah, sure, it probably works there. The only other decks I've been trying have been the 221 decks, and I feel like most of the Unison stuff is at odds with what those 2 decks are trying to do. The only ones I've had any success with are basically Zeno as a draw engine, like using it as a supplemental draw engine, and then Gotenks. And the problem with Gotenks is, as good as he is, we already said it earlier, can't use Trunks with it. It has trash synergy with Trunks. So like I don't even feel like I get the full picture for trying to play an old strategy with these new cards. Like honestly, it just really does feel like you should just pick one of the set 10 leaders, or like one of the old monocolor leaders that previously didn't have a turn 2 or turn 3 good turn 2 or turn 3 option, and just play that instead.
So I think you're with Go Tanks. I think the biggest thing is that you want to pay more than the 4 with it. I think that's what SS3 allows you to do, because I was paying like 5 or 6 energy for it, and it felt ultra great.
No, like,
then
I still would play God Sealing and Malevolence Unbound, but like now we're like talking about we have to ramp to get to like 6 energy so we can pay 5 for it or something. So that way I can -2, draw 2 cards, and then still actually have the Trunks live. Like it's not like in my head when I envisioned it, like when I first saw the cards, it's I'm gonna play 16 on 2, and then I'm gonna play Gotenks on 3, and nobody's gonna be able to stop me. It's gonna be like the best feeling. Everyone's gonna get blown out, and that's not how it works. So it's got to come later, and compared to the other stuff that can do like crazy bonker stuff on turn 2, it's like I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sold.
Okay. Zap, your thoughts.
My thoughts. So, blue. When I look at the new Unison stuff and I look at the blue, the Unisons, as we kind of talked about, don't have a lot of flexibility. So not too many new leaders are going to be able to utilize those well. Zeno, there's a little bit of synergy with a couple leaders. We talked about the various Zamasu leaders before. We talked about Blue Gogeta BR was something we talked about today, because you could burn the 1 energy off the ramp to draw 2, but you're kind of already in a dual color deck, so it kind of feels weird. But in general, most of those leaders don't seem very synergetic. Looking at the green, the support we got for green as a whole were a lot of generically great cards, but the issue is historically green leaders haven't been great. I'm going through the list here, and the only leaders that are jumping out to me based on Series 10 support in any way, Series 6 starter deck Broly is interesting in the sense that that leader can't play more than 2 battle cards, and being able to play a Unison kind of gives you an extra place to play things.
Demigra seems really good in that kind of deck.
That's a good observation too, yeah. Lord Slug has a potential to be interesting, because you have a few 1-drops, and then you can use Bardock to top stuff, or you can go Hasty Dispatch into Wings. Aggro Gohan, I guess, gets a quality of life buff in Hidden Dormant Potential to try to protect itself before going off again.
Revive Coup.
Revive Coup,
Revive Coup might actually be something. Yeah, that was something that Jose and I were talking about earlier. Actually, just like what if like Revive is the out to this Goku deck?
But how's the Goku backside worded? Is it they have to attack the Revive guy first, or they can't attack the leader? How's it worded?
They can't attack the leader.
They can't attack the leader. Okay, so they can still attack the Unison, which feels bad then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other than that, I guess Double Strike, I think it's a small, like, previously Double Strike in the early game was never too impressive. Double Strike gets a little bit of mileage now, because you can pop Unisons more easily. So I guess set 1 base Goku and Vegito get quality of life improvements just by the format around it. But most of these green leaders aren't good. So again, it comes back to
I think you're discounting my boy Vegito a little bit, man. I mean, within a Unison format, there's not gonna be that many battle cards. So like he is gonna get it.
I agree. I'm generalizing on the other 23 leaders here.
Okay. Matt, what are your thoughts?
on current decks and how the game looks with Series 10.
Yep.
So I think it's just the rules of engagement have changed for the game, and when you have cards now that can't be interacted with that can generate values across the course of the game, you kind of have to steer your strategies in a way to be able to play them. And I think the biggest thing that like Surge Coup operated at for a really high period of time was the amount of stuff that it could do for cheap energy. And when you start taking unisons that cost 1 to 2, and then you combine it with effects like God Sealing Technique or Frieza that are free when you have them out, then you start to break that paradigm where Goku was always just playing his deck for 1 to 2 to 3 energy, and now you're giving that power to monocolor strategies, plus you're giving them stuff that the deck can't really interact with. So I think you're right about the Surge decks having to stop playing 3 colors, because if you're not playing Unison, then you're gonna have a bad time when one sticks against you and you don't have a plan for it, which I think it's pretty evidenced by all the games we played so far. Like how many decks have we played and just felt like, man, if I don't have a Unison on turn 2, or if I don't have a Unison now, I'm just so far behind.
Yeah, my games against Jose where he's like killed my Unison like outright and I wasn't able to protect it within the gate, I just wanted to scoot. It's that drastic.
It is.
Because the other thing is that now you have this mechanic or interaction, I have to say, where like, okay, I can try and swing at the Unison because it's a win-win situation for me. So he either spends a card to defend it, which is a card that he won't be able to use to defend his life, or he loses a counter. So that means that he cannot do his like high cost counter ability on that next turn, that it's going to be very detrimental for me if he does it on his turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always
all these mind games now, right?
Exactly. I always talk about actions per turn being so important in card games, and in Dragon Ball Super it's just the same. The amount of actions you're generating per turn is usually leads to overall like your success when it comes to generating tempo and generating an advantage, and Unison cards are that. So if you're not playing them, then you're going to have a pretty poor time in this format. So I do actually think that the Surge decks take a step back compared to the Tier 1 decks that'll probably come out of Series 10, just because the Series 10 decks seem to be geared around Unison.
Yeah. Jose, you want to add anything?
Yeah. So the other part that I think is going to be very significant, it doesn't have to do with gameplay. It has to do with how you build your deck now, right? So now they gave us the ability to add more cards to the deck. It's for that same reason. So now you need to support your Unisons. You need to still be aware of what your statistics are going to be. So now you need to adjust your numbers, because like we said, we depend on the Unisons. So if you don't see, you can, okay, we say like, for example, one of the things that we were talking, just to I like using examples to be more concrete about the message. So we're talking at first glance, when we saw the Goku burst on both sides, we said, oh crap, that means that we need to play 60 cards in this deck, make sure that we don't mill ourselves, right? But then as you do that, now you're hurting yourself in the numbers, and this is something that we're gonna cover
in the days that follow. Yeah.
But without spoiling a lot of details, so now you have to be very careful. You cannot just be like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna add 4 copies of the good cards and just 4 copies of the Unisons and just 4 copies of... It doesn't work that way, because now you have to be very thoughtful on how you're building your deck. Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's not like it's not one number fits everything. You know, you have to.
It's going to depend on the leader, the strategy, all the pieces in it.
So
I'm feeling the same way.
People
Originally,
that are
I thought it was just 50 only.
People that are smart builders, people that are smart players, are gonna be rewarded in this set. But I have to warn you guys, it can be overwhelming. That means that you need to be more patient. You need to invest more time. You need to read more. Pay attention to what all the videos out there, everybody like teaching you new things and how people are thinking, because it's not gonna be like set 9 where you could be like, oh well, okay, I'll play the Surge Coup deck that everybody's playing. I'll win. I'll top. Whoop.
Yeah.
No. You're probably gonna be playing.
No, I think this is gonna be the set where everybody goes in drastically different directions. I think that you're gonna be seeing a different leader winning like unless like this Goku deck is like the only thing people just gravitate towards.
Or there's something snapped in the next 3 colors we haven't seen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty much the only thing like I could think of. Like I'll be like spoiler alert, guys. If everybody just goes for this Goku, like Janemba,
Yeah.
there you go.
And okay, cool. I think we got everyone's thought on it. So let's have some closing thoughts on the hottest topic of the date of time, the ban list.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm gonna I want to
Raise his hands.
yeah.
Matt
Alright.
stabs his own neck. Let's go, Pat.
I know. Yeah, he's
Right.
he doesn't gonna say it because like this. Okay, so obviously anybody who's looked at the Facebook group recently knows I'm gonna cry. Because it's all everybody keeps talking about. I'm like, oh well, the whole set's designed against monocolors, so it's obvious what the most busted card is, and the set is designed against monocolors. They're gonna ban. I think they're gonna ban Android 21, dude. I think they're gonna ban her.
So I think one thing to keep a note as we talk about this is to look at president information. Tien and Tao both got banned on the set that they brought out effects that wants to promote that set, as in untapping with Beerus and hand destruction with Tao, right? So they got rid of those cards, so now you can actually play with those new good cards, because if those cards existed, Tien and Tao, you wouldn't be able to, and then no one would buy the stuff. So
yeah, if a whole set's based around monocolor and the second best archetype was blue green ramp or like blue green hand control prior to this, like they can't not know, right? Like it's a meme. The fact that like everybody on the Facebook group knows it makes you go like it's going to happen, right? If it doesn't, great, that's awesome. But like I'm just dreading.
I don't want it to get banned so I can get to play baby when he plays that deck.
Jose, do you want to talk about it real quick, the ban list, and your thoughts, and like what do you think should happen? Go ahead.
I think it's not really a ban list, but I want Raiders Warcry to get unique.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I'd be okay with that.
I want all these cards that have a rival to have unique.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that
I
would
think
be dope.
I think it's time. I honestly don't want 21 Hungry Lady to get
The boot.
axed. I don't want it because then blue doesn't have this big, gigantic bomb to end the game after you ramp for straight 4 turns. You know?
Yeah, I think we do need better payoffs for that amount of energy.
Exactly.
I
So
do
like,
agree.
right? Like, or are you going into Xeno
put it up
strategy
there.
with Gogeta 7, or you play Trunks with a Vegito, or you play a low to the ground Vegito deck aggro, you know, which we already tested and when we know that he loses to the green.
Okay.
So yeah, personally, I don't want that to get banned. I think it's a high probability. Besides that,
You said you were hoping for Gogeta 7 on the last video.
yes. So I think Gogeta 7 is in a good spot to get it now because I think it can be run very easily on the Vegito deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even the starter deck Gogeta, like if you he bursts so much and Zeno helps you burst. If you do the starter deck Gogeta, you can actually like do a turn 3 Gogeta 7 and you can burst 3 cards a turn because Zeno bursts a card 2 for you. I like these I like the looks.
You can do
so-
that. You can Gogeta 7.
Outlook does
and on
not
top of
look
that,
good
go
for my
into the
favorite
Vegito.
color.
You can go in Gogeta 7 fuse into the Vegito for free. So it's like you're gonna do at least 4 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Matt, your thoughts?
Right down.
So I know Violent Predator is probably gonna go. Like that just makes a lot of sense. You know, as everyone's saying, it's like, okay, well, they're building a whole set around monocolor cards, so you probably want to ban the thing that kills monocolor decks. So that feels like a pretty easy read. Stuff that's not an easy read. I personally think you should ban Plan for Destruction. Because I just think as long as it exists, you're always at risk.
Wild card right there.
Yeah, if you just have a degenerate ramp strategy that can ramp to 1 billion energy ASAP, then you're just always at risk to have your game ruined by a singular finisher you print in blue. So it's you're just setting yourself up for a bad time because now we have a generically good Zamasu leader as well. So Plan for Destruction seems like a card that makes sense to kind of like dial back some of the, tension within the community because people are afraid of tragedy over ground decks, which aren't even good.
We have yet to resolve that card and win a game.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I know I joked about it earlier, but I do see a world where a card like Turles gets hit because of the storm-like effect. Like it's like Bardock and Goten in one card. And like it used to be a drawback to have to discard a card, but now since everything interacts with the drop area, it's like a plus to have to ditch a card now to make it a 15k. And then it also, I mean, so that card to me is kind of like worrisome. Like it just generates a lot of like problem decks based off of it. Like Black.
Which card was that again?
The Turles, the free one. Like
okay.
Black aggro is just like really strong, just because of that card alone. So I'd say those two cards potentially, aside from Violent Predator.
Yeah,
I would love saying these things to go also, but
it's $100 card. It ain't going nowhere.
No. I think other
I
cards.
just wish it would go because I hate how ubiquitous it is. That's the problem. Like that's why I want it to go. Is I hate how ubiquitous it is. Again, or give me Grafdigger's Cage. Graveyard hate. Again, Bandai, if you're listening, please.
Yeah, I think anything that generates that amount of attacks early is going to counter what we're trying to get this set, which is like your Unison, and Turles basically just says you can't play Unison because it's just gonna die turn 1. And so like other things, maybe like even like the Beerus green drop and stuff like that. Some stuff that can generate so much attacks that early that can just make the Unisons not playable anymore. Because if we get into a format where you can generate like 3 or 4 15k attackers and like then you're gonna get away from Unison.
You think they'll limit anything to 1, guys?
I think
don't know.
Predator is a great candidate for 1 because blue-green still having a win condition would be great, but not playing blue-green just to play Violent Predator.
Well, I mean, doesn't that just make games kind of feel bad though when your opponent just rips their other secret rare?
It
does.
does.
One CBL. I hate that.
I agree, and I think a better solution is to print a new blue-green finish to replace it, but I can't just shake my wand and pull blue-green Super Gogeta 7 out of
I hate the one of every time I play Zap with Brawly with his blue-yellow Zapes.
Always has it.
I'll play my one exploding weakness. CBL. Like I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, if they do hit, like I said, on one hand, like, objectively, like, from a design standpoint, it just makes sense to get rid of Violent Predator as, like, the obvious because it goes against the design philosophy of the set, it seems like.
Or deflect on it. Do that. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
What?
Get rid of deflect on it.
Oh, just unrat it? Just get rid of deflect on it? That's also a possibility. Rat it and have deflect.
Oh.
Huh. No, but on the other hand, like I said, if she goes, then I'm gonna. If she goes, then like I basically just have to chuck my whole deck into the trash can. So
just play 4 cards or like 2 because you only play 1 or 2.
Well, I have no way. There's no way to win the game anymore. Just chuck the whole deck in the trash.
Play Victory Strike. You're fine.
I understand.
Oh, because Victory Strike is great.
Okay, Jose, what were you saying?
No, I'm saying that I really want. I know it's the obvious pick. But, like, I think it would be, well, depending on how people react to it. Right? So, if you have to have a deck that is going to ramp and end the game period at turn 7.
But it's like...
Because now people are gonna also play aggressive strategies.
The act of scooping up all of my cards.
Scooposaurus Rex.
Just shuffle.
Yeah, I'm very curious on that.
But it's the obvious. It's the obvious pick. I mean,
yeah. I'm very curious of what's gonna happen. I think that's gonna be format defining in itself. Whatever is decided.
They should ban all Saiyan Kabbas because 1 mana double strike's too good.
Yeah, after we just printed like 4 more.
Oh. Matt, what if I told you I printed a 1/15 that says once per turn this card can't die by battle. That also says when this card gets attacked, you can pick up a life instead of KOing it. What if we just had those?
Wait, are you talking about Demigra?
It's so gross to me that green, like to me, green's worst walker is better than like the best green, the blue one.
It's the
like,
best 1 mana card in the entire game.
That's not true.
The best 1 energy battle card you can play.
Excuse me?
Okay,
Which
there
one's
you go.
better?
All right. Battle card. I
Oh
can't.
yeah,
really...
yeah. I forgot it had deflect and barrier. Good point.
Deflect, barrier, 15k, awakens you if they swing at it, and then
guys,
a -3 to kill 2 things.
we're forgetting that yellow is gonna pop it by taking 3 counters of it.
I love Jose's the
forget it.
gatekeeper of our
Forget
thoughts.
it.
He's like, oh, you guys are talking about this. Just wait for
Forget
yellow.
it. Forget it. It's gonna.
Just wait
You
for
guys are talking
Yellow
about
is
I'm just
gonna-
waiting on yellow.
Yellow-
Even I'm waiting for it,
Counter.
man.
Yellow is manipulating counters.
Dude,
I've never met anyone as racist as Jose. That's what I learned today.
all right.
Yeah.
We'll stick with the same theme. We're gonna end it with closing thoughts of what you guys want to see with Black. We got a little bit of a teaser of what's happened, but we won't kind of dive too much into it. But we kind of have a small idea of what's gonna happen. Not really with like 6 cards. And then we'll end it there. Maybe have a little jingle by Jose, and then we'll give the K-bye. You know, as a traditional 3xG boys. Flex the shirt Zap for me, please. Yeah, there you go. So Jose has been raving about yellow since the past 4, 5 conversations we've had. It just starts with the terms yellow. So Jose, tell us what you want for yellow. Or no, I'm sorry. Tell us what you want for black. I'm sorry. Tell us what you want for black.
I don't care anymore. I don't care about black.
Okay, then Matt.
I'm kidding. I start with what I don't want. I don't want skillless Goku support. I don't want Kiku
Ooh.
support. I don't want Kiku support.
You hate it. You hate it with
Shot,
a passion.
man.
No,
Joe,
no,
you
it's not that.
I can physically feel Joey's anger right now.
It's not that I hate it. I just don't like that deck is like when everything goes right, if they
Correct.
draw perfectly, it's like unbeatable.
Yes.
And then if they don't see a Dragon Ball, it's like, well, they lose completely, like
Yep.
utterly destroyed, So like I don't like decks like that. That's my problem. And I like people to get more creative because Kitku felt like just a safe choice. It's just like, okay, it's
very generic.
Yeah, very generic. You don't need to be good to play it. You don't need to be skillful. Doesn't take that good players were doing it. I'm not saying that, but it's like anybody can grab. I feel like Kitku is a
It
deck
feels autopilot.
from set 1 to learn the game.
Your turns were scripted like Boo almost. Like he knew
Exactly.
what you're gonna do your turn.
You're gonna do the same thing the whole time. I'm just gonna bring 30Ks and flip them, turn them to sideways, and that's it, right? With no repercussions whatsoever. Because if you pop it, okay, I'll get it back. This is good. So that's the sole reason. Because I want the community to also grow and be more creative and take chances. What I want to see black. I want aggro choices. But I know that's not gonna happen. I'd like to see support for the Dark Power Saiyan. Sorry, what's the leader?
The Bass Vegeta.
The Mass Vegeta. Yeah,
Okay.
I want
Yeah.
support for him. I'd like to
Raw
see
berry.
Raw berry.
That's what we're calling. He's Power Thirst. It's Power Thirst Black Man saying. You call it Raw
I'd like
berry.
to see support for the original Mass Saiyan as well.
Okay.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
I would love to. I would actually love to replay.
Yeah.
Saiyan.
So,
I think that would be super fun.
If we can actually find a way that black can interact with the graveyard as well, without sacrificing your overrealm, that'd be pretty dope. And what else? No, I think that's it. Yeah. Some sort of good counterplay for black.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Nothing like red, nothing like green, nothing like bing, but something to put him in the radar so they can react to things. And right now it's like, well, my Vegito came into place.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they have to be careful with that to make it like color restricted because then those generic counterplays could be splashed in any color. So we have to be careful.
Yeah, man. Deborah, bro.
Exactly. Matthew, your wants and needs for the archetype of black in the draft.
I can tell you that all the black cards spoiled today sucked except for the Shinron Unison and the Mirror card. That's pretty much it. I thought the mirror card was good because it's a hand destruction card and it goes with Toa.
Tell me what you want.
You said I want black to get something that takes black in the direction of, instead of just being everything that green should have been, just making it its own thing. Whether if it's going to be more overrealm or if it's going to be more drop area manipulation and it's black. I would just like to see black have a little bit more of an identity outside of just being the silver bullet color and just the does everything kind of decent color. So I think stuff like that. I am curious to see if there are any unisons that end up being kind of busted, since black doesn't have any sort of cost requirement. You can just play them all for one. So I'm interested to see how that kind of impacts the game. Because the Shinron one already looks pretty good. It's just really niche, but yeah.
Zapidos. Your wants. And needs.
Only thing I need black to have is some kind of protecting me from when people go wide against me. Green didn't have that until just now. They got hidden.
Oh, you have protector of the people at the moment. That's a decent go wide answer in black.
Zap's not impressed.
Some people do have that opinion. You are correct. Some people do have that opinion. But no, that's the only thing I think black really needs for quality of life. I'm just really excited to see the starter deck, because so far I've been over the moon impressed with how cool these starter decks are for only having 3 exclusive cards with them. 4 exclusive cards. That's the craziest part to me.
That's very true.
Yeah. But no, black's cool. Black's cheap. Keep black cheap.
Is that like a hashtag? Okay, so 2 things. One, whatever black is or does, or whatever black archetype comes out of the set, I would just like it to be fun. Because at the moment, the 2 black archetypes, right, the 2 that we have, Hatchak is a snooze fest for everyone involved in it. And then on top of that, Bibbidi is the most obnoxious thing ever, right? It is literally just foot on the gas, don't think about anything, you're dead, you can't interact with it, or my deck bricked and I don't do anything. There's no fun to be had playing with or against either of those decks. So please, whatever deck it is, just be something unique and be something fun. And then the second one, which I've been saying this entire podcast, Bandai, graveyard hate. Seriously, black is the color to put it in because everybody would have access to it. I'm just saying,
biased because you're cheesed off on how good Goku is.
That could be it, but I already was mad. I was playing 4 Saiyan Instincts in every deck, and I was still mad about it because I don't feel like that card should just be jammed into everything. Give me Leyline.
Nah, bro, just surgical extraction, bro. Let that ape hit the drop area.
No,
Oh, we lost Pat.
I didn't get your joke, but it must have been that good.
It broke the internet.
But yeah. No, surgical extraction, people would get so mad if that was the thing. For those of you guys who don't know, it is basically a free card that targets a card in a drop area. You search your opponent's hand and deck for every card with the name card you target with it and remove it from the game. So if a Saiyan Instincts ever hits the drop, you're just out for 0. I'm going to remove it from your drop area. Let me look at your hand and get all copies of it out of it. Then I'm going to search your deck for every card.
Sounds like Black Scout maneuver for our previous.
Oh yeah. It's a ridiculous card. Surgical extraction.
It's crush card and no little cross out.
No. I will close it up with my thoughts on what I want for black. I want some support for Wish. We got little teas with Shenron already. I want to get Wish support.
No.
Not something degenerate World Peace or Child's Wish. Nothing crazy like that, but give it a little bit of a boost to make it somewhat relevant and bring the Shenron back.
They print a 6-cost Shenron with Deflect, and it just has permanent. Your cards don't have a Radit effect text.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all the card does. That's all the card does.
You're right. It would be busted.
You can play banned cards on this deck.
Yeah, exactly. You could play Mecha Frieza and play all your extra cards for free.
No, it's a... Yep. Go ahead.
Boys, this is a great cast. This is a great time. I had an amazing time with each and every one of you. And I wanted to make it all cuddly.
So
I don't cuddle.
And
sorry.
I want a jingle from Jose before we do the closing
twinkle,
statement.
twinkle, little star.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and tell us what you want on the next one. And expect to hear from us in the next 5 to 8 days after we learn about black battle cards.
And if you're watching this in Future Vision in a week, make sure if you want to get this early, check out the Patreon. Links will be in the description below.
Sweet.
Matt, do you have anything to say in regards to maybe the thing on your hat?
Oh yeah.
Alec Estrada, Beard Collectibles, best shopper on the planet. If you haven't got your Shield product for Series 10, make sure you can do your pre-orders right now through beardcollectibles.com.
Boys.
Yeah.
You guys kill me every single time.
Okay.
Boys, this was a great time. Okay, bye.
Bye.